Hello everyone. So, we got a new banner, which is the Halloween banner preview. I will say one thing before we start covering this banner. If you do not like negativity, because whenever I do these, I tend to have a lot of dislikes, and I'm guessing it's just because people tend to watch those videos expecting the person to always say, "Oh, it's so good, it's so good, it's so good," and never talking about the bad. My channel is not like this. I talk about the bad and the good about everything. I'm saying this in advance because if you can't handle negativity whatsoever, click up the video. With that said, so, Halloween banner dropped, and we have a flyer and 3 armored units. Yay. More armored units again. I feel like we might get in the same kind of scenario that happened last year, roughly around Christmas, where we kept getting like armored unit after armored unit after armored unit. Let's hope that's not the case and my gut is completely wrong. Anyway, let's move on to the first impressions. Keep in mind, before we also go in there, if one of them is your husband or a waifu, don't let me discourage you from building them. This is not the type of video for this. This is more like a way to, I guess to some extent, educate people on how I feel about the characters and what might have went wrong or well. Anyway, moving on.
So, what do you think? Pretty cool costume, right?
So, first off, I want to say our artist is back, the same artist that made Base Mia, which honestly I really liked. But another person went back, and that's our Path of Radiance voice actor. I'm kind of surprised they decided, you know what, fuck it, we'll bring her back again. Because I'll be completely honest with you, I don't know many people who said her voice was good. But the opposite, yes. Yes, I heard that a lot. I don't understand why she's back with that VA, but it's kind of a shame. Most of the cast of Path of Radiance and Radiant Dawn kind of just came with a different VA than they had in their own game, at least most of them. I might be wrong on this, you can correct me in the comments, but oh well. I feel like that's just a missed opportunity, but that's just me. So we have another healer, this time a flyer healer, which I guess completes the holy trinity, but for 4 types of unit for healers. Own flyers, again, on a seasonal unit. Why? I believe we have own flyers on like 4 units at this point, and 3 of them are seasonal. We still don't have any own flyer in the pool added since Inoka. Can we please have own flyers added in the pool so we have more chance of getting own flyers? Or even better, get a new unit with own flyer that gets demoted. At this point, it's almost required. I have no idea why they are delaying it so much. Speed Resbond came... The first time that came, that was Spring Kagero. It was not great then. It is not great now. But thankfully it's on a heater, which means, at the very least, the fact that it boosts your res is meaningless. Yes, speed defense would be better, because then you would at least be able to cover up your defense, which we're not too sure. We don't have the stats, but typically when it comes down to healers and mage, you have more res than defense, and they tend to just want to emphasize the res for whatever reason when dragons and DC units are rampant. But like I said, this is a healer. This is not a pref weapon, meaning you can actually refine it, and refine it to Dazzling Staff, as a matter of fact, which means having disgustingly unbalanced defenses and res doesn't matter whatsoever. You can just fix that with a simple refine. Now for the weapon itself, which has about as much lines as our thrust knife, which, my god, what is this Yu-Gi-Oh bullshit? So, alright, let's read the 15 effects it has. After combat, if unit attack resets special cooldown of target and foes within 2 space of target. And inflict the following status on target. Alright, first off, the first effect resets completely cooldowns you have. If Black Luna is fully charged, too bad, it's gone. It's back to 3, which is absolutely broken. It also completely destroys Special Spiral. If you're attacking a unit around the unit that has been using Special Spiral, it's gone. It's back to 0 for him. Which, okay. I guess it's their way to counter Bolt Fighter, which is kind of silly because it's on a staff. Can't really use staff in arena, so unless they put like Flyer Colorless Duel, which means it's gonna be useful for like 2 characters, but at the same time, it's a healer. Pain plus Razzle Dazzle with dual skills would be Cancer. So I feel like this is kind of a wrong type for it. Then again, whatever, right? Inflicts the following status on target and foes within 2 space of target through their next action. Inflicts special cooldown charge -1 per attack during combat. Only highest value applied, does not stack. So, to explain this in English, this is guard. But this is not guard 3, this is guard 11. Yes, guard 3 would have an HP threshold of 80%. This works at all HP. Yeah, guard 11. Let's skip 4 through 10. It's straight 11. I feel like I would have loved the power crept guard that would get demoted later on, because guard is a guard is a really cool skill to play around, but the fact that it's, well, held back by the fact it's 200 SP and not 240 is a pain in the ass, because it means you can't really do any build with it when you're talking about arena, because you lose score in most builds, and the builds you don't lose score, well, that tends to be because you have to run a 300 SP skill, or you don't have the 300 SP skill, so running guard is completely fine. You do not lose point unless you run DC on X unit, which is not optimal by any stretch. It's a cool concept, it's a cool skill, but it's just held back by DSP cost a lot. So it would have been nice to see a better guard that would work up to 50%, kind of like Special Fighter, but for everyone, because as weird as it is to IS, people play other things than, armored units. Fucking hell. But yeah, this basically inflicts guard on everyone around them, which means charging specials becomes a bit harder. They can still get 1 charge from stuff like Bolt Fighter when attacking, Heavy Blade when attacking if they have more attack than you, etc. But from the most part, it's not much. If you use a full team and then use what you want on top of it, it kind of fucks them up completely. Still, like I said, I feel like a new B slot, just a new guard essentially as a B slot would have been better. On a banner where the unit would be demoted, of course. But that's just me. It also does not stack with guard itself, so alright. Neutralize special cooldown count reduction after combat. Okay, so that means even if you attack a unit that procs by some change skill, and you somehow live, because let's be honest, if you take a hit on a healer, usually you get killed unless you're something like Malachiesis, which is very bulky overall, and if you have Miracle already and such. Say they proc it and they have Special Fighter, or not Special Fighter, Special Spiral, sorry, and it procs so they get 2 charges. It doesn't matter. It goes back to 0 because of it. Skill that accelerate and slow specials are still effective. So basically what they mean by this, Haute Claire, for example, which gives CD -1, that stays. Blar Blade, which gives you an extra cooldown to go through, that stays. It's pretty relative to if you have a special and you rely on it, I fuck you up, basically. Kind of, again, kind of a shame it's stuck on a heater, but ah well. At least it's a unique effect, right? At the very least. Also, Recover Plus is always great. So, yeah, let's move on. What the fuck is that frog squeak?
Those who do not give treats must suffer a trick. That is the rule.
Okay, sure. So, I guess before we go to this, I wanted to point out something. This has been a pattern in the last few seasonal banner. It really feels like IS makes their art 6 months in advance, if not more. And they did a lot of Fate's Awakening thinking, oh, that's gonna sell, that's what everyone wants. And now they're like, oh, fuck, they are sick of it. So we have to introduce 2 characters that are not from Fates or Awakening, but then we have to dump 2 more characters that are from Fates or Awakening, because otherwise we commissioned that art and made those stats for nothing. It really does feel like this, and why is my answer. Like, when you create a game, when you create a gacha, when you create something that relies on popularity of characters, you cannot make anything 6 months in advance. You cannot. You have to do this about a month or 2 in advance, max, and even 2 months is stretching it. The reason why I say this is because then you get stuck like this. You have stuff ready, but no one wants it. Well, no, some people definitely want it, but it's definitely not what people really want. For example, what I hear a lot of people clamoring about is a fucking Echoes banner. It would be great if we get Cliff, for example. It would be nice to have Far-Fetched Heroes 2 come in, and then we'd have Cliff in the banner. But instead, because they have already made the art, they kind of feel obligated to put the other characters in there. That feels sad to me. But, oh well. And also, it's funny because I calculated on stream how many characters there were for both Fates and Awakening, and then everything else. It's a ratio of 2 to 1, and if you remove FE7, which actually has the most alts out of any Fire Emblem outside of Fate Awakening, you're down to 1/3 of the unit. And if you add the FE7 unit to Fates and Awakening, you're down to 1/4. To a 1-to-4 ratio. Sorry. Yeah, that's atrocious. I'm sorry. That's atrocious. But yeah, hopefully they get over it and realize that people kind of are sick of Fates and Awakening. Oh well. Now for the unit itself. Even Attack Wave, this is the first time we see this skill. We have 2 units with odd Attack Wave, being Lewin and Ishtar, but not even. So that's cool. Bolt Fighter really feels like the entire reason Kagero is armored, when clearly she isn't, is so we can have fighter skills on them, so we can sell fighter skills on the banner, and no other reason. I guess that's kind of silly, but oh well, it is what it is. Guard 11 does not after combat if unit attack, typical dagger stuff. So okay, you'd think it's a dagger unit with Bolt Fighter. That could be pretty cool with something like Barb Shuriken and probably something like Iceberg or Draconicora. That could be cool with Bolt Fighter. Or you could actually use Starfish from Lind. Put that on this with Bolt Fighter, and then combo this with something like Glimmer. Something like that, but I don't know. It just, I don't know. It doesn't really help her that much at the end of the day because it just doesn't help her. Myrrh Strike is cool, but I feel like it's gonna, for the same reason as Mia, whenever they put a lot of focus on two skill, those two skills are good. Her attack is probably gonna be 35, as is typically the case. She's probably gonna have a good amount of speed. Sorry about that. As is typically the case. Her res is gonna be really good, and then her def is gonna be woo, like 25 or less. Which that sucks. That really does suck. But oh well. Another problem she has, and also that's actually the reason why I was thinking all those combo wouldn't work too well. She's a green dagger unit. I've praised the move of making colored daggers in the past, and I realized that now I have to kind of, contradict myself. The reason why I was saying it was so good in the past is especially because it was on range unit, it was on dancer unit, so they had really low BST to work with. So being able to have a color, so they could at least deal with one color sometimes. Ryoma was kind of fucked on that regard, but sometimes, and if they don't, you can at least put TA on them to make it easier. You could actually work with this, and debuffing everything around them while surviving easier was a good thing. The difference here is we are on an armored unit. Armored unit have a lot of damage potential because of Bolt Fighter. As a result, I'm sorry, having a color is a disadvantage. If you have to go against a color disadvantage, which in this case is red, which are some of the most ruthless type of unit, you are fucked. Absolutely fucked. You have no recourse against them. Starfish could work, but it's gonna be rough against stuff like Zelgus that have 59 attack and always hits you twice because of quick repose Bolt Fighter. Or Ira, which just you probably won't double and just will double your ass if you let her attack you and proc on you. And if you don't, well, you're attacking her and then she procs on you for like 60 damage. It's gonna be rough. If she was colorless, well, you could at least make use of the set combo I said previously and possibly KO her. But considering how Moonbow and Glimmer works off your damage. If you have combat triangle disadvantage, you're fucked. And Moonbow, that can kind of work, but not well enough because, again, combat triangle disadvantage. It's a shame. It's a shame because I do like Kagero, and honestly, if I'm being completely honest about it, Kagero is the best art of the banner, by far. I don't know what Cubone did, what kind of drugs he did to change his art style this drastically, but it looks amazing compared to what I was expecting. Anyway, I suppose we'll move on. Not much else to say here.
I'll take your candy.
For you, I have a trick and a treat.
One hell of a last name for that guy. Here comes Swift Sparrow Unit number 11! Why is that not in the pool yet? Or rather, in the 4-star pool. It has been outliving its duration, for fuck's sake. Okay. Effective against Flyer Guard 11. Okay. So Sparrow, which is really good. Attack Speed Link is finally in the game. So I suppose Odin loses a bit of utility. I say a bit because still you're taking a B slot, and B slot are very, very important to a lot of units, especially armored units. Whereas Odin can keep it, can run Desperation, so he's completely safe on that regard. He still has his niche. Attack Speed Link is cool. Definitely welcome to see in the pool. Shame it's on a seasonal, but oh well. Still, there's not much to say here. It's pretty basic skills. Outside of it's a blue archer. It's a blue archer. Lucina is still better in some extent. I don't know what his stats are, but I'm expecting his def to be atrocious. Lucina has good defense. I'm talking about legendary Lucina, of course. And on top of that, Lucina buffs stats. I believe it's speed +3 and HP +3, which are really, really relevant stats to help you in a lot of things. Speed less so, but can actually help you with characters like Myrrh, so they can deal with Bolt Fighter a bit easier. It's rough. Because, again, just like Kagero, he is armored. The problem with this is that it would be one thing if that was our first armored bow unit. However, last year we got Armored Jacob. Yeah. Armored Jacob is a very min-maxed beast. I don't think Niles stand a chance when it comes down to potential to him. Jacob is just insane. He has Sheena's defense, but with a 35 attack stat. Access to Brave Bow. Access to Bolt Fighter, Death Blow 4 now. It's stupid. It's absolutely stupid. He is still, to this day, I'd say the best bow unit of this game. And now here comes Niles as an armored blue archer, being held back by Combat Triangle, and probably will have a terrible defense. I'm sorry, dude. Like, I don't expect this guy to be better, because unlike Jacob, who's min-maxed and has like really poor speed, but as a result has good everything else, Niles on the other end is gonna have a okay attack, good speed, bad defense. His res is gonna be about the same as Jacob. It's a shame, really. But, yeah, not much else to say. How much HP does he have? 37. That is sad.
I may not technically be a child, but I still like candy.
Okay, so here comes trouble. I really like her art, by the way. I thought I'd say that already. Probably the best art Amagetero. Amagetero? I hope I don't butcher this. Probably the best art he's ever done, or she's ever done, whatever. Let's get to the point. The problem is it's another armored dragon trainee unit, so soon after Tiki. Now, there is a reason why I was okay with Tiki. As a matter of fact, there was multiple reasons. First off, Tiki is probably the most relevant dragon in the series. Outside of, I suppose, Naga, to some extent. So, seeing her getting an ult was just obviously coming. The problem here, however, is while Tiki has a special breath-ish, she doesn't really bring a lot to the table, and she is a legendary unit. Pulling her is difficult, so obviously seeing her being a legendary was fine. Seeing Myrrh here being a legendary is not, because, well, she gets a pref weapon for one, which, of course, why not? Which means she scores the exact same as Tiki. The only advantage Tiki has is the blessing mechanic. So she scores better when there's a Earth season than Myrrh. At least in an Earth-based team. This is easier to pull. Not by much, mind you, but this is easier to pull than Tiki. It's a banner that lasts about 4 times as much. Same BST. a weapon with more utility. I think you see the problem here, don't you? Oh, and yeah, you don't have DC built in the weapon, but guess what? You don't even need DC anymore. You don't see mages all that much if you're using Myrrh in your core team anyway. She's going to be 180 BST if you plus then her anyway. You won't see mages. So, what we have here is essentially just a better Tiki. I'd say even better colored, because she can still deal with Zelgus pretty fine. Grima is obviously the best color to this day, but less BST at the very least. So, this sucks. It kind of just cheapens the fact that Tiki was just released. But, oh well. Let's move on. Spirit Breath grants death +3 if you have 5 more death than the enemy. Bolt Fighter, basically. Well, Brash Assault, but no HP threshold, I suppose, because you don't get the cooldown -1. So she probably will have a decent amount of attack, so you can use Heavy Blade. There you go. Problem solved. Vengeful Fighter is already there. Again, problem solved. Death Rest 2. Now, this is funny, but that skill was not in the game yet. This is the first time Death Rest 2 has been added to the game. I kind of wanted that to be a more available skill because, well, as in every skill with two stat up, it would be nice to have them as in, you know, another choice than, you know, fucking Fury all the time. Attack Speed 2 would be great to have in the pool. But, oh well, I guess that's just not a thing that we can have. Vengeful Fighter, Armor March, nothing we haven't seen any time before. So yeah, I guess it's a bit more of a pet peeve, but 2 180 BST in a row, and unlike Tiki, I don't think Myrrh really earned it. I'm sorry, fans of Sacred Stones, don't kill me, but I feel like Tiki definitely earned it, unlike Myrrh. Anyway, that's just my 2 cents. So, this is coming on the 10th. I'll most likely be summoning on this banner, though. Considering how I usually do this, oh, Jesus, that's 50 defense? Oh, God, I'm afraid to know what her stats are gonna be. But I'm gonna be summoning on this banner as usual. If you want to tune in, it's probably going to be on the 10th. Probably around 9 AM, because I can do that before going to work. So come in if you want to talk about it, I suppose. Hopefully my fucking 3-man banner luck comes into this banner as well. And 4-man too. For those who don't know, I tried to skip the Fates banner. Someone made me summon a full circle, basically. I continued summoning until I got Silas, and I was kind of disappointed, so I rage summoned, I suppose. Next circle I got Nana and then Ishtar, and then the next circle after I got Flora, and then I stopped. After I pulled Tiki, I was down to, I believe, 100 orbs. So I was like, you know what, fuck it. I still don't have Ophelia, I still don't have Nina, I'm gonna do like 1 round. I did not record this. I did not record this because I did not expect to get anything. It was just a shot in the dark. My first summon was in attack plus death minus Fey. And then I was like, okay, 1 more. I did 3 units. It was garbage. I'm like, okay, 1 last time. I pulled Perry and then Nina. The Nina was neutral. So I'm like, okay, 1 more. I pulled Ophelia right after her back to back. So I'm down to only Jenny to get again. Somehow. pulling 3 5-star in 30 orbs. Let's hope that luck continues on the next banner, I suppose, because that would be nice. Can't believe that happened. But, yeah. I suppose I'll see people who want to see me summon on the 9th. It will be on my Twitch, as fucking usual. No surprises there. Not on the 9th, on the 10th. I'm fucking stupid. The banner is not on the 9th, it's on the 10th, isn't it? Come on. They don't even show him off. Yeah, the 10th. Okay. So it's gonna be on the 10th. My bad. Oh, and before I go, I will also point out the fact that this is not all the characters we're getting. We're getting a 5th character that has not been shown whatsoever. We're getting Dorcas. I have no idea what he's gonna be. They might pull a fast one on us like they did with fucking Garen. We all thought it was gonna be an axe armored unit, but he ended up being a infantry red dragon for whatever reason. Actually, he's probably gonna be a green unit, probably an axe unit, because his title is Pumpkin Smasher. So I'm guessing it's going to be something like Melon Crusher, but for axes. Yay. Kinda sad that Dorcas is not on the banner, while Kagero is. Because Dorcas is actually more of a beloved character than, in my opinion, Kagero, so. Oh well, that was just my 2 cents, though. So, how was the banner overall? Good, could have been better. I just hope they, lose that fucking habit of being like 2 awakening unit into the other banner that could just be a banner in itself. For a change. Because that is getting old, I'll be honest. I'm sick of Awakening Seasonal. I'm sick of Fate Seasonal. Why are we back to the year 1 where we were getting only Fates and Awakening? And then now it's that, but like all of the time, which is... Can we have something like Loves Abound, but for other, games? I would have loved Headless Horseman Eldigan, for fuck's sake. That would have been cool. Oh well. I suppose that's it. Not much else to say. This has been a 30 minutes first impression, for fuck's sake. As usual, if you want to talk to me outside of this, you can do so in the comments or on my Discord. Not both are going to be in the description. Discord will be in the description. Comments will be in the comments. Anyway. See you later, y'all.